At what percentage should you start your retinoid journey? 0.025% or 0.05%? Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. In this video, I'm going to try and draw out a list on what is the better percentage for you to start your retinoid journey. Now remember that there is no clear-cut bullet point list which says, alright, if you match all of these bullet points, you should start at 0.025% or you should start at 0.05%. It could be all of the factors or it could be a combination of factors. But I'm going to try and list down as clearly as I possibly can so that it's more helpful for you to make a decision around what percentage is going to work best for you. Let's categorize it in three categories. Number one is your skin type, then we'll discuss skin conditions, and then we'll discuss age. When you're looking at skin types, if you have very dry sensitive skin, your skin tends to get irritated and inflame very fast, my recommendation would be to start slow and gentle. So start at 0.025% instead of jumping at 0.05%. Keep in mind that the irritation is more or less the same with both of them. However, at 0.025% is definitely more gentler than what it would be at 0.05%. Now, if you have a skin condition, if you have slight uneven skin tone, your skin looks a little dull, it doesn't look as fresh and hydrated and glowy, then it's good to start at 0.025%. If you have breakouts, not acne, breakouts are when you have a few pimples coming out sometime during your period, or you've been lazy with your diet or exercise and you have an occasional breakout coming out. That's a breakout. So a gentle retinoid 0.025% is good for you to start. However, if you have acne, now acne is that when you have at least 10 to 20 breakouts happening at a very rhythmic manner, every month you get them, at no point is your skin clear of breakouts, and you have at least 25 to 35% of your face covered in acne at all times. Now there are 6 different types of acne. We are referring to acne which has got pus or which is nodular, or even one which has got like pustules. All of those, then you definitely are not looking at 0.025% to start with. You might have another retinoid to look at. In fact, you might be actually required to go on a treatment plan. So my recommendation would be that if you have acne like that, please meet a dermatologist. It's incredibly important that you meet a dermatologist as early as you can so there is as little damage to your skin as possible. So going back to the point of breakouts. So if you have just breakouts, occasional pimple here and there, go ahead with 0.025%. It's going to be immensely useful for you because what does a retinoid do? A retinoid helps improve skin cell turnover, and that's exactly what you require when you have a whole lot of dead cells clogging your pores. It also removes the dead and the horny layers by compacting the stratum corneum, which means you have better, younger, fresher cells on your face, and so therefore there's less chances of your, of the dead cells clogging your pores, and therefore less breakouts. So retinoids extremely helpful in that. They also help with scarring because there's a regular turnover of cells. So it helps a lot when you have simple or a few breakouts here and there to start with a 0.025%. Now, if you are 38 and upwards, you should definitely have a retinoid in your skincare. I don't recommend retinol serums at 38 plus because your skin requires a lot of help at this time to take care of the fine lines, especially if you've not been using any skincare or any anti-aging practice before this. So don't waste your time and money with retinol serums. Start with the retinoid straight away. At 38 and above, if you have dry sensitive skin, then begin with 0.025%. It'll just be a gentle retinoid for you to start with. However, if your skin is fairly good, it's a combination skin, it's not too oily, it's not too dry, then definitely you could look at a higher percentage. If you have uneven skin tone at this time, in fact, uneven skin tone gets quite prominent at around 40-41, then you should look at a higher retinoid because 0.025% will be very, very slow to act on such kind of uneven skin tone. If you have a lot of open pores, then also you're not looking at 0.025% at 38 and above. So the only time you're looking at 0.025% at 38 and plus is if your skin is still fairly normal, you don't have a lot of uneven skin tone, your skin doesn't have any blemishes, there's no visual feel of any UV damage. Now remember, sun and UV damage is a very cumulative reaction that starts showing on your face only around 38 plus. So if you've never used sunscreen before, it's around this time that you'll start seeing a little bit of uneven tone. You'll start seeing your skin getting very textured, very dryish also, and that's when you know there's been a little bit of UV damage that's occurred on your skin. So start with 0.025%. Now let's move to what skin conditions you're looking at if you are for starting at 0.05%. Now, if you have a lot of acne, you definitely are looking at 0.05% to begin with. Again, if you have pigmentation that is not slight uneven skin tone but has actually manifested as melasma. Melasma is very prominent discoloration here, 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 here. It's generally equal on both cheeks, though mine is getting much better here, is getting faster over here than it is resolution over here. So for me, it's a little unsettled right now, but generally melasma presents as a very equal presentation on both sides. You could also have it over here as well and here as well. In such cases, don't waste time with 0.025%. Get on with 0.5% as soon as you can. If you have oily skin, it's also better to start with 0.5% because your skin is able to take the dryness and the irritation and inflammation much better than a dry, sensitive skin can. Or if you have uneven skin tone, which is very, very prominent, then definitely 0.05% is what you're looking at. Even if you've never used retinoid before, my recommendation would still be that since you have considerable damage already in your skin and you have very prominent wrinkles and fine lines, to just jumpstart your journey by going straight at 0.05% instead of going at 0.025%. Now that you begin your retinization process, you start using a retinoid, there is a process that will unfold on your skin over the next 90 days. I've done a detailed video on what your schedule should be or how you should start Retin-A into your skin, and that video is going to be listed either here or definitely in the description box. Please do have a look. It's important you understand how to introduce Retin-A into your skin. This video is going to be more devoted to what you're going to do, what you can encounter during your retinization journey, and what can you do about it. So as you begin your retinization journey, there are 3-4 things that do happen to your skin. The first thing that happens is that your skin tends to get very, very dry. And at least in the first 4 to 6 weeks, you will actually see your skin peel a lot. You can see the skin lift and actually see the dry flakes on your skin. There are a couple of things you can do to relieve yourself of that dry skin. What you do not do is hold the skin and peel it out. You never do that. You just let it fall off on its own. What has worked for me in my experience is something called a water scrub. So after you've had a bath, a lot of the loose skin or the dry skin tends to get loose and tends to mostly fall off. However, there might be still a little bit which is stuck to your face. You do not pick it and peel it. You just do a gentle water scrub. This is what I do. After I have my bath, I dry my skin, I dab it with a tissue, and then I take very little water, just enough on my fingertips. I take this and I rub it on my skin. So wherever I have dry patches, I kind of take water on both my fingertips, just wet, and I rub my face with circular motion all over, wherever I might have it. And as you'll see, the water after some time tends to get drier, and your dry skin will start piling together and will start coming off. Keep in mind that you don't use any pressure. Okay, there's no pressure to be used. It's just very gentle motion all over your face. You're just helping the dry skin to come out as smoothly as you can. Once you're done, then wash your face off. You'll wash off all the dry skin out, and then go in with your vitamin C or with your moisturizer. During this time when the skin is still peeling off, it's good to use a very hydrating or a very moisturizing moisturizer. But make sure that the moisturizer are simple formulations. You don't want any complicated formulations at this point because your skin is going to be healing. For me, my all-time favorite has been Skin Pantry. I've spoken a lot about it because it's extremely hydrating and very, very moisturizing. Oops. I've been going gaga over this moisturizer for a very long time. I just feel it's been one of the gentlest moisturizers I've used. Now, do keep in mind that when you're using a Retin-A, and you're using a moisturizer, you might initially feel a little bit of tingling and a little bit of stinging on your skin, which is completely normal as long as the stinging or that irritation goes away in like under 15-20 seconds. It shouldn't be something that lasts beyond a minute for sure. It does sting and burn a little bit, but after some time it completely dies down. And that is probably happening because there is just your skin is a little sensitive and is a little irritated and inflamed. So the stinging thoda thoda bahut hota hai, but don't worry about it if it goes away within under a minute. And in my experience, all the moisturizers and the actives do sting just a little bit when you're on the retinization process. Use this. You could also use the one from Just Herbs because it's got aloe vera in it, and aloe vera is extremely soothing. It's completely fine to go between 1 or 2 moisturizers during this time, depending on how your skin is behaving. If it's very inflamed one day, you just want the power of aloe on your skin, then feel free to just get this moisturizer as well and let your skin be calm and smooth. This is again a fantastic moisturizer. It's very hydrating, very moisturizing, and most importantly, it has a very gel-like feel to it and is very gentle on your skin. I really like this moisturizer as well. It's definitely one of my favorite moisturizers. It's just that in winters my skin gets really dry, so I'm preferring the Skin Pantry right now and enjoying the fragrance in the Skin Pantry moisturizer. Now, as you progress into your journey, there might be a few days where you get something what I call as a retinoid burn. If I have a picture of the retinoid burn, I'm going to pull it up from my gallery because I've had a few. Now, what typically happens is when your skin is drying, you might develop a very microscopic tear on your skin. It just is something that happens when you're on the retinization process. It's nothing to worry about. It's just something that happens, right? And you apply a serum, and that serum is a little strong. You'll get a little bit of darkness. The skin is going to get a little black over there. It's nothing to worry about at all. It's just that what your skin barrier is compromised, and a particular ingredient has gone into your skin and caused a little bit of burning over there. In such cases, avoid that particular area because you don't want to irritate it any further. So I had a burn over here. I left it for a week or so. It completely healed, but I continued my retinization using Melatonin. In such cases, go back to the 3 things that I swear by for moisture barrier repair: the Vaseline, the Borolin, and my all-time favorite, the Nivea moisturizer. It's extremely emollient-based moisturizer, and it really works wonders in hydrating and repairing your moisture barrier. Vaseline, as we know, is full of linoleum and petroleum. Petroleum, by the way, is completely safe for your skin. Clean Beauty did kill it for some time, but all these ingredients are back, and thank God for that, right? So this is great for repairing your moisture barrier. This Borolin is a green magic bullet. It's got a linoleum in it, and I've done a video on moisture barrier repair. It's going to be listed here or here. Please do have a look. So then go back to these 3 things. If you're getting those kind of burns on your skin, they will really help accelerate the repair of your moisture barrier. What else can you experience? You could also experience, I've made a list over here. Let me just go through it. You could also experience a little bit of redness and sensitization, especially over here. In such cases, what is really advisable is that you avoid direct sun at all costs because your skin is very sensitive at this point, and make sure that you are wearing a very good and a very strong sunscreen. Sunscreen and Retin-A have to go hand in hand. Otherwise, you are doing no favors to your skin at all. You can get terrible deathly pigmentation if you don't use sunscreen properly. I've done a video on that as well. Please do have a look. It's going to be listed here or definitely in the description box. What else can you expect? You could also expect a little bit of irritation. So you'll have a little bit of itchiness on your skin. That typically happens if there's a lot of dryness on your skin. So if you are to up your moisture barrier or to make sure that you're using your moisturizer properly, that itchiness should completely go away. Don't get worried about it. It is completely normal when you're on the retinization process. Now, once you're past the 10 to 12 mark period, that means you've been on the Retin-A for the last 3 months, your skin is fairly good and fairly robust to now start taking serums that can actually improve your skin's quality. And because remember, when you're using Retin-A, your skin is extra absorbent. Considering your stratum corneum is compacted, your dead cells are far less, you have newer, healthier cells on your face, and there's much more hydration and moisturization, you can start putting in some good serums on your skin to really up the quality of your skin. But keep it for post the 12th week mark, because then there's going to be, your moisture barrier is going to be strong, there's not going to be any dryness or irritation on your skin. So therefore your face will, or your skin will absorb the serums much better. You could also consider the minimalist EGF serum. The multipeptide serum is going to get absorbed much faster, and you'll get the advantage of it at double time and double the percentage. But keep in mind, again, EGF comes with its own set of caution. I've done a video on that too. It's going to be listed in the description box. Please do have a look. I think with that, I've covered most of the retinization process, things that you're going to encounter during it. If you have any other questions around your retinization process, please feel free to list it in the comment box. I'm going to be happy to respond to them and share what's really going to work for you. Don't be scared of retinoids. Retinoids are very safe. In fact, it's the only ingredient that has been studied to death by the science community and is actually a benchmark in anti-aging. Don't be scared of it, just be cautious. With everything good, introduce it with caution and with intelligence. Don't be silly, listen to your skin. Your skin is the best barometer for you to understand how it is performing under the Retin-A. So look out for irritation, inflammation and dryness, and now you know how to handle them. Post the video, and I think you'll be completely fine and safe to do it. So let's see you next time. Be good to your skin and hair. Ciao.